sometime around first of the year, end of December, first week of January or something.
Okay. Be glad to see that one start. Any other questions on the River Road water main? All right, then we'll move on to item number 2, Burgess and Nyepel water and wastewater system projects.
No new updates on the water system project. I know, Randy, you had mentioned us before that at some point in time you'd like for us to make a presentation to council about these projects and costs and stuff like that. So we're in a position to do that at some time.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we had the passing of one of our city councilmen, it's kind of threw things into a little bit of a limbo. And so I really would like to have every council member present so they can hear your presentation. Hopefully in the next few weeks, as time goes on, things will get more stable. But we need to get moving on that, because whatever we're going to do, we need to pick a direction so that we can get, these projects started. But at any rate, I apologize for that, but sometimes you just kind of have to wait and see what happens. All right?
Yeah, you just give us a few weeks advance notice. We can put some stuff together.
Yeah, because, obviously with, ARP funds that are left, 1.9, 2.0, whatever it is, it would be nice to have that money to work on some of these projects. So, we need them to be as informed as we possibly can. All right. Any questions for them on item number C? All right. Item number D, Pond Run cost estimate.
I think the only thing we did, I think we talked about it before, but we had neglected to put a copy of the cost estimate in the last month's agenda, so we just wanted to make sure you guys had that. So none of the numbers have changed.
And just so councils or boards aware of this cost estimate is based on a construction contractor building the job and being advertised for bids, contractor building it. It's way beyond capabilities of the utility board staff to take on something like this.
I see on there that one of the estimates is for a right-of-way attorney. If we already have Pond Run, why are we doing right-of-ways?
Construction highways.
To get the equipment in.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, when they built Pond Run, when they did that, just to refresh everybody's memory, that is a flood control project that the Soil Conservation Service did back in the 80s. That was designed and built to address flooding in the area that occurred in the 60s. I think there was a significant flood in that section of Pond Run back in the 60s. So that project was to help alleviate that situation. So that project, there was a significant amount of right-of-way acquired by the federal government, Soil Conservation Service at the time, to build those, not only to build those improvements, but there's a fair amount of waste material that happened to be disposed of. And when you see some of those flat areas along Pond Run, I think a lot of those flat areas were where they wasted excavated materials. So when we designed this project, there's going to be a need to acquire some easements, at least for access, and we're going to have to find a place to dispose of some of these excess soils. So that'll come up, but that's one of the reasons why the right-of-way attorneys.
The problem with Pond Run is the right-of-ways that we have bounce back and forth across the creek itself. We've always had discussions about a bicycle path. Well, that would be a fantastic spot to put a bicycle path, because it would get you right straight back into Jackson Park. But because of those right-of-ways bouncing from side to side, if we could clean that up at this time to where we got a 15 or 20 foot right-of-way, we could design that bicycle path and get it there. Okay? If there's enough of a right-of-way on, either side of that to make it one continuous run. Okay? I know, Craig, when you were involved with the project at 30th Street, 31st? 30th. Yeah, you know, from there all the way down would be great. But I'm not sure that, you know,
Not just for a bike path, but actually for a walk path for the students.
well,
in school.
anything, yes, a pathway, pedestrian pathway. But at any rate, Craig, is there any way to get a actual cost estimate from the soil conservation people about how much money we can actually tap from
If
them?
you want to pursue it, I can give them the cost estimate that Craig's done here, and I can start sitting down with them and say, look, this is what we need to be done. What are you gonna give us? How much are you gonna contribute? You know, are you gonna contribute to 2.25, or are you going above that? And give us some different. Okay, Pond Run, there's a section of Parkersburg that they've used some of our money to correct that, so I'm looking for it back. Maybe we could use some of their money to take care of our situation also.
Well, let's reach out to them and send this estimate in and say, here, we would like to start this project. How much of our funding are we eligible to?
Or additional funding, grant, or whatever.
Well, yeah, whatever. That's right.
If that's what you guys, if you guys want to do this, then we will. There's a section of the Fremont dry dams, just look at it's in here. That'll have to be separated out. That is not part of their flood structure.
You know, and I would think, from my opinion, the pond run dredging is more important than the Greenmont retention areas, simply because we don't have a problem with the Greenmont area yet, but the more you clean it out, the more efficient it's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, but until we get the downstream of Pond Run actually cleaned, if you do Greenmont first, you're just dumping more water in there.
Or dumping in, yeah, it goes to the golf course. It does not.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
You're correct. I apologize for that.
That's all right. It's,
There's not very many ways for the water to get out, but you're right.
it's,
Oh, thank you. Yep.
oh,
Yeah. I'm sorry, you're correct, Craig.
So that's my question. So when this number, and I've actually have two different sheets because I have the one that was just from September 29th, which is 1.38, or yeah, 1.34, and the one from May, which is 1.44. But regardless, this includes everything, right? Which includes the Greenmont dry dams.
what did you put in? Is this included Greenmont? So, I know you got dredging stuff. I thought you said,
I think it's everything.
yes, it is.
Okay, and so we could do this in phases, you know, potentially.
Yeah, again, you have to start the lower end, work your way back up, yeah. Yeah, I never said we should do this all at one time. You know, I'm a big supporter of doing from the river up to 12th Street, then 12th Street up to 18th Street, 18th Street up to 28th, whatever. Yeah, this is a big project.
So, I mean, if you divide it into smaller sections and do it that way, which that makes the most sense, you know, for me, I mean, what kind of time frame is on that? Would this be over a course of several years to finally do it from basically the end down by the mall up to Greenmont, or?
If you did the whole project, you do it in the summer, but if you want to break it up, yeah, it'll take several years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Kim. It's a long distance, but there's not a tremendous amount of area that you're going to clean up. You can't make it. I mean, all you can do is put it back to the original standards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a cleanup issue is what it is. It's not a, you know, they're not going to deepen it. They're going to simply put it back to where it was originally designed, you know. And so if you had a dedicated crew, you could get right after that.
Right. I mean, I think I read in the initial report there's like 15,000 linear feet of silt to be removed to get it back to its original. I mean, to me, that seems like a tremendous amount. I mean, it's, you know, after 30 some years of it not being dredged, it's, you know, going to be a big project.
Well, it has been, I don't think it's been 30 years, but I know that it was installed, then Jimmy Waggle come back in, he dredged a lot of it out. and then it hasn't addressed since then, but it was right before I came, so I'd say 24 years. So, yeah.
Okay,
Original design, was that just that like riprap bottom?
Yeah, actually, there's, except in certain sections, there's some concrete, like Kmart and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, the old
That
Kmart,
particular
that
area,
channel,
yeah.
right. So what's not concrete will just have the original stone riprap. More than likely.
well, if you'd reach out and see if we can find out what kind of funds are available to us, that would certainly make it easier to work with. All right?
Well, maybe I'll just have them come to the next meeting and say, look, this is what we got.
Whatever works for you, I don't care.
That's why y'all can ask them questions and stuff too, if you wish.
Okay?
If they come, they've been real difficult to get a hold of, they're still not working in the office, they're still working from home, so.
All right? Okay, thank you very much. Craig, we move on to manager's report.
Not much, we're getting through our public works difficult time because, you guys didn't take much vacation over summer, they seem to hit me pretty hard in the October, November range, because hunting seasons. So I've been down mostly 9 guys throughout the last 2 months, 9 guys per day, so, but we've managed them pretty well. We're getting into the winter sessions, so our projects will be cutting down, we'll be moving over to more or less street snow removal and things, but, I did want to give you guys an update on our ArcView Esri program I presented to you all in reference to, you know, how the blue dots, you know, where the water line leaks and stuff was. I think and we're gonna make a presentation for Jack Mathers. I think it's next Wednesday after Thanksgiving. He's doing a walking trail system throughout the city of Vienna, and they was talking about doing some highlights on that walking trail where, you know, they come up to a tree. They say, okay, what kind of tree is this? No, Steve, you and I would really like that in the past. But he was gonna try to pitch stakes in people's yards, and it wasn't a really good thing. So I talked to him, Tommy and I sat down with him, and I showed him our Esri program, what we can do. We can install that and make that walking map for him on the Esri program, and have dots on the maps where the people, when they're walking that trail, they can come at that point and use their phone with the Esri program and actually click on that dot and show you, and bring up a full display of what that tree would be or what highlight that area is. I know he's got a lot of where the Indians, you know, slept and for everything else. So we are using that program outside of what we actually do, but at least this department is trying to help and reach out to other departments and work with them and make the city a better thing for what we've done in-house, what we've learned. So I thought it was a good thing. So I thought it was cool. That's it. So,
Okay, questions for Craig? All right, so I have one item I want to bring to your attention, and then we'll go around the room. The reconciliation of funds that I gave you all. If you look at the top under special revenue, you'll see a item there for stormwater. And our stormwater account has $368,000 in it currently. So these projects that we're talking about, under the stormwater issues, we do have some funding for that. You know, $368,000 won't go very far toward a $1.2 million project, but there is money in there for some of the other ones that we run into. When you go right below that to the proprietary accounts, the enterprise funds, which are water and sewer, we just completed the 2-year audits from the state of West Virginia, and we have no bond covenants, violations, or anything in any of our accounts. All of our accounts are fully funded, and you'll see in there that in our water reserve account, we have $158,000, and in our sewer reserve account, we have $230,000. So that all came about from Senate Bill. Oh, wow, I forgot the name of the Senate. Whatever the Senate bill was, it requires you to have 12.5% of your annual income. And so we've met that, and we have our amount of money in reserve for any emergency. So financially, the utility board and the water and sewer accounts are in very solvent condition. So that's very, very encouraging right there. All right.
I have a question about that. So I understand the unrestricted water and the unrestricted sewer. On the stormwater, you mentioned 368,000. So that money, I know when I would go look at the stormwater budget, there's the cost to, pay the employees and do the testing and all that stuff. And then in the budget, I think there's $191,000 that goes back into capital improvements. So this $368,000, that's that can go directly into a project if we choose to, or?
Yes.
Okay. I just, that's has nothing to do with the stormwater fees that we take in every month and we're using to pay, employees and so on and so forth. This is, if we spent, I'm not saying we should, I'm saying if we spent all $368,000, we're still going to be able to, maintain our stormwater, pay the employees, do the testing and all that stuff.
Well, obviously, we get revenue in for the stormwater fees, and so that number changes every month.
Right.
Okay. And so we would have to maintain a balance to actually run the stormwater crew and the stormwater
That's my
department of
question.
it. But yes,
So out of the $368,000, what's the maintenance level of money you have to have?
I don't have that number, Kim. I'm sorry, Amy
Okay.
does.
Okay, because that's what I'm saying. I just want to be clear. If we're going to say we have $368,000, we really don't, because we have to have money in reserve to pay for everything.
If that's the way you care to look at it, sure.
Well, it's not the way I care to look at it. I'm trying to understand.
I just wanted to tell you what the balance was in the line item.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I doubt seriously we would choose to spend all that. So, all right.
Well, it's just, I'm trying to get a gauge, as we mentioned earlier. I mean, there's quite, a lot of stormwater projects.
If you will give Amy a call or send her an email, I'm sure she can answer that question for you. Craig might be able to answer it.
Yeah, I can. You gotta keep in mind, we're not setting at $368,000. That is something you could possibly use, because you gotta keep in mind, every month we're getting that revenue back in to cover payroll expenses and things like that. I think what Randy was saying, not spend all of it. Yeah, I could always like to have a reserve, because if I do have a pump failure or something like that in some other station, I'd be able to take it out of that pool. So, yeah, you can use it. I prefer not to use all of it.
Oh, gosh, I'm with you. I mean, I
That's
was just trying to get a gauge of what the point of it, what we're even talking about. And, we get into the budget in the beginning of next year, and, every year, it's like we take $100,000 out of the general fund budget and we put it into stormwater. So, I mean, that's also, something on my mind as we proceed forward with that.
Isn't that the one you want to increase to $200,000 because it covers every street in the city of Vienna?
Yeah, I like about 1.4 this year. We'll talk about what's going on.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, that's it. That covers the street fees.
Any other questions? All right, Joe, anything today?
Nothing there.
Steve?
No, sir.
John?
No.
Kim?
Nope.
Lori, anything?
No, sir.
Mr. Legal?
I'm good.
All right, great, fantastic. Happy Thanksgiving. Good hunting for you all that are going. We will see you after hunting season. Craig and Mike, thank you always for all the work and numbers and presentation. With that,